Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Gadget deck profile. So I'm really excited to for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun, consistent deck and is even budget to be able to pick up, which is amazing. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Green Gadget. Green Gadget has an awesome ability that when this card is summoned to your side of the field, you can add a copy of Red Gadget from your deck to your hand. We then play 3 copies of Red Gadget. Red Gadget also has a search ability that when this card is summoned to your side of the field, you can add a copy of Yellow Gadget from your deck to your hand. And then finally we play 3 copies of Yellow Gadget. Yellow Gadget has the ability that when this card is summoned to your side of the field, you can add a Green Gadget from your deck to your hand. And something that's really amazing about the Gadget deck is all of your Gadget monsters between green, red, and yellow search each other, which is so cool for the consistency of this deck, just to help you go through the deck and always have a monster in your hand to guarantee that you're going to have a normal summon, which is amazing. This deck makes all sorts of really cool plays like XZ plays, going into rank 4s, and even goes into link plays because of how consistent the Gadget monsters are. These cards are amazing. We then play 2 copies of Gold Gadget and 2 copies of Silver Gadget. These cards basically have the exact same effect that when they're normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 machine monster from your hand, and if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon 1 Gadget monster from your deck, except another copy of this card, which is an amazing effect to be able to just special summon one of those cards from your deck. I love that ability about the Gold and Silver Gadgets because it just helps the consistency a lot, and basically just off of summoning them to your side of the field, you're guaranteed at least a rank 4, which is really good about these 2 cards. I feel like playing 2 and 2 is the perfect number. You really don't need any more than 2/2 of these cards, but they're really awesome in this build. We then play 3 copies of Infinitrack Anchor Drill. Anchor Drill is a really cool 3-of in this deck because this card has the ability when it's normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Earth Machine monster from your hand in defense position except another copy of this card, which is basically like playing 3 more copies of Gold and Silver Gadget, which is why I just play 2/2 of these cards and I play 3 of this. This card is also a great card to help you go into rank 8 plays because we do have the ability to target one other machine monster that you control, and the levels of both that monster and this card become the combined original levels of those 2 monsters until the end of the turn, which is great to target another level 4 monster in your side of the field to make this card and the other monster both become level 8, which actually goes in for some really cool plays into the extra deck. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build because it just helps out a lot to just get more monsters on your side of the field, and whenever it does summon itself to your side of the field and you normal summon this card out to the field, you can actually summon out one of your gadgets, which then will search a different gadget, which is super cool, but you cannot summon out gold or silver because they're actually light, but you can summon out any of the original gadgets, which is amazing. We then play a single copy of Ancient Gear Box. Ancient Gear Box is really good as a 1-of in the build because if this card is added from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except by drawing it, you can add an Earth Machine type monster with 500 attack and or defense from your deck to your hand, which your copy of Anchor Drill actually has 500 defense, making it a target to be able to search off your copy of Ancient Gear Box, which is really nice to be able to use your copy of Garganta X. We then play a single copy of Terverion King Regulus. Terverion King Regulus is a good 1-of in the deck because this card is just amazing to be able to use as a walking negate. You only need a single copy of this card because you can search it from the deck, which is why we just play 1 in this build, but this card is an amazing 1-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Symphonic Warrior Guitar. Symphonic Warrior Guitar is a really awesome combo piece in the deck because it has a great ability that you can discard a card to special summon a Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck except another copy of this card, which is a great ability to summon out your copy of Mike's. Mike's is really good because when it's on your side of the field, it does grant you an additional normal summoner set the turn that it is summoned, which is a great ability to be able to use with this card to help you just keep summoning out your gadget monsters and keep searching out additional gadgets in the deck to be able to just keep going in for plays. This card is a definite 2-of in the deck. You only need 2 copies of Mike's because you're just going to be summoning it off of Guitar, but it's really good in this build. We then play a single copy of the Star Destroying Kaiju. You only need a single copy of this card because we do play Small World in the deck, so you can use this card as a Small World bridge, and if you do draw into it, you can always Kaiju your opponent, which is just really, really good. We then play a single copy of Nibiru. Nibiru is a cross-out designator target, and this card is really good as a 1-of in the build, just to basically stop your opponent from Nibiruing you, but if you do draw into it, you can use it. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is one of the best hand traps in the entire game, and this card is a definite 3-of in the deck because it's just such a powerful card. It's stopping your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a definite 1-of in the build because this card helps out a lot, basically to just stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play 2 copies of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is very helpful in this deck, just again, like your copy of Called by the Grave, to stop your opponent from hand trapping you. I don't feel like you need 3 copies in this build. You can play 3, but I feel like 2 is totally enough. We then play 3 copies of Small World. Small World is a really cool 3-of in the deck to help you get to your copy of Guitar. There's a lot of different Small World bridges in this deck to be able to use, but this card is a really good 3-of in the deck just to help you get to your copy of Guitar so you can get to your copy of Mike's and get an additional normal summon, which is just such a powerful thing in this build. We then finally play for the spells. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is really awesome as a 3-of in the deck because it actually makes your gadgets get even bigger, which is amazing as all face-up monsters on the field become machine monsters, and machine monsters that you control gain 500 attack and defense. Also, machine monsters that your opponent control lose 500 attack and defense, which is a great ability to be able to use in this deck because, for example, your copy of your green gadget will go up to a 1900 normal summon, which is really good. Your copy of your red gadget will go up to an 1800 normal summon, and your copy of your yellow gadget will go up to a 1700 normal summon, which is really good, and it reduces the attack points of your opponent's monster by 500, which is really good to be able to use with these cards because they actually become really good normal summons because they're pretty big, which is really nice about using the gadgets with Clockwork Knight. The other cool thing about Clockwork Knight in this build is if it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card from the grave to discard a card and then add an Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand, but you can only use this effect of Clockwork Knight once per turn, and you can only activate 1 of this card per turn, but it's really an amazing card in the deck as a 3-of just to be able to use to basically just make your gadgets bigger and also turn your opponent's monsters into machines. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, guys, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is a really good hand trap to just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down columns of spells and traps. This card is amazing in the deck as a 3-of because you can also use this card with Crossout Designator to basically just stop your opponent from imperming you as you're going in for your plays. This card is a really good card in the deck. You can change out 1 of them for an Effect Veiler if you feel like your opponent's going to be playing Effect Veilers for a Crossout Designator target, and play 2 copies of Impermanence and 1 copy of Effect Veiler, which is an option for you guys if you would like to do that. But I really like 3 copies of Impermanence because it's such a common hand trap to be able to see that you can hit with your copy of Crossout Designator. But this card is an amazing 3-of in the deck, and it helps out a lot to be able to play this, Ash Blossom, and even Nibiru to be able to use against your opponent. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with a single copy of Platinum Gadget. This card is an awesome extender that has a really cool ability that it cannot be used as link material to turn its link summon, but during your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 lower machine monster from your hand to a zone this card points to, which is a great ability. This card also replaces itself if it's destroyed by battle or by card effect by special summoning a level 4 gadget monster from your deck, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is really good in this build to be able to use, basically just as a monster negate. This card can get a lot of negates on it and is a really good card to be able to play in the deck, especially how this deck swarms. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's really good in this deck as a one-up to be able to pop multiple cards on the field and just go in for game. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn's great in this deck to be able to spin cards off the field. We then play a single copy of IP. IP is also really good in this deck as a one-up to be able to go in for your copy of Appaloosa or your copy of Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn, which is really good. We then play 2 copies of Giganta X. Giganta X is really good in this deck because it actually searches out level 4 lower machine monsters by just detaching a material, and this card is just a fantastic 2-of in the deck because you can actually use this card to go in for your topic future, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Ga Magician. This card is great at helping you step into your copy of your topic future and then Draco future because it has the ability that you can detach a material on this card and then target an XZ monster in your graveyard, except to copy this card and special summon it, but its effects are negated, which is fine because it just gives you an additional XZ on your side of the field so you can make your topic future and then your topic Draco future. We then play a single copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is one of the best rank 4s ever created and helps you lock down the graveyard. 1 copy of Merrymaker. Merrymaker is in here so you can step from this card into your copy of Gigantic Champion Sargus, which actually searches out your copy of Terverion King Regulus, which is amazing. Plus, this card can make a 4 material Zeus, which is insane. We then play a single copy of number 38. This is our rank 8 that we're playing in the deck that you make with Anchor Drill, because you basically summon out Anchor Drill and another monster from your hand, use Anchor Drill's ability on a level 4 monster on your side of the field to turn them both into level 8, and then you make a spell negate in the form of your copy of 38, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of F-Zero so we can make our copy of Utopic Draco Future. Utopic Draco Future is a really good card in just about any XZ deck that can make monsters that are not number monsters. And this card is really good because it's basically a walking negate and it's hard for your opponent to deal with because it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, which is insane. This card is really good because it also has a great negate ability that if the monster that this card negated is still on the field, you actually get to take control of it, which is insane. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus just works in any XZ deck, and this card is just amazing in this build. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Gadgets before, you should definitely give this build a try. It's so amazing that how many different ways that you can build gadgets, but I really like playing it like this because there's a lot of really cool lines that you can actually go through with this build and just swarm the field with all sorts of really cool gadget monsters. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.